today. Oh my gosh. I cannot be blessed more than this today. Binto Bantaba Network, I love y'all. I want everybody in. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We are ready. Yes. I am fired up, I'm fired up, I'm fired up, I'm fired up. Are you guys fired up? Oh my, we have him here, our special guest. Our special guest is in the building. I told you I have to smile because I'm blessed to have all these brothers and I have the sisters coming too. Yes, he is in the building. He is here with us. Boy, oh boy, I put my hand on him. I said, ooh, he is real. He is real. Our brother is here. Suwareh is here. Yes, Mr. Sulayman Ben Suwareh is in the building. I love y'all. Yes, Haidara. Thank y'all. You cannot miss. You have to share this information. Yes. Great lecturer in the building. Nko na alatentu. Can you guys hear the music today? It's different. It's different. If you guys can hear me, give me a shout out. Shout out to Facebook. Shout out to YouTube. Binto Bantaba Network, we are back today. It's another Sunday. I'm here with my big smile because I'm always blessed to have you. You are my favorite. You are my real people. YouTube, give me a shout out. Yes, subscribe our page. Yes, follow and like it. We have the greatest lecturer in the building. Yes, he always does his best. He gives back to the community. This man here gives back to the community. Like it or not, he's doing it his own way. Like it or not. Yes, that's why we have to bring him to share with us that love that he will be sending to everyone. Thank y'all. It's a special day. It's very emotional for me. I have to say Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Everybody's mother, here, not here. They have the genuine, the love, everlasting love that nobody can twist around. I don't have mine with me. I have my stepmom with me, and she loves me as much as Mama do. And I want y'all to love Mama. Today is Mother's Day. We are blessed to be mothers too. Thank y'all. I'm going down straight. We don't have much time. The guest is here. He's here. Oh boy, I have to send more love to the mothers. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I appreciate everybody. Our special guest is here. Mr. Suwareh.
Hello, my sister. How are you? Happy Mother's Day.
Welcome to Binto Bantaba Network.
Thank you.
First of all, today is a special day. I do not want to skip this part. Mothers are the ones that give us the genuine love that they never twist around. It's never been twisted. They are here with us. They are not here with us. We always have them in mind too. And guess what? We were not the best children, and we are not. We wish we can turn some things around. And mothers will say, I wish I was a better mother.
Yeah.
But we all human, and they love us. Unconditional love. Mine is gone. My stepmom is around. I know yours is gone. We just pray for them. The ones we have around, you have your mama around. Please humble up. When they are gone, you will want to change that clock. You want to change that clock, and the clock will not turn around. That's what I have today. I'm a mother. I know the reality being a mother. I always pray I will be the best mother. I won't. I'm human. So that's why I'm saying Happy Mother's Day to everyone. It doesn't mean you have to have your biological child. Somebody's child is your child. The society we came from, we share children. So, Suwareh, we are so blessed to have you here at Binto Bantaba Network. So I want you to say hello to mothers first.
Thank you very much. Happy Mother's Day. And as you just have expressed, mothers are our foundation. They are bedrock. That's where the family is built on. And that's where society is built on. That's where nation is built on. And all women are mothers, regardless whether they have their own or not. And our mothers will always be with us in spirit and or in physical sense or whatever sense. We always have our mothers. And keep on praying for all women and especially Gambian women to continue to be blessed with good health, and the environment that would appreciate them.
Thank you. So from now we can move on. I'm getting so emotional with that message you just throw at me. Thank you so much. We welcome you here.
Thank you.
We are humbled and honored to have you.
It's a pleasure.
Binto Bantaba Network, we call ourselves grassroots. If you guys can hear us clearly, let me know. I cannot afford to have any glitch. We want to have a discussion with you. It's an open line. I will make sure the lines are open.
Yeah.
You are welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to come on your platform. And as important it is, we have to share information. And we have to support and empower each other. And we are too small to occupy the space. But the more we connect, we'll get there. And that's why it's important to collaborate and support each other. And with the little knowledge we have, we educate each other.
Thank you. We've been, let's go straight home, Gambia. Everybody's welcome. Yes, they say they can hear us loud and clear. As a security expert, let me just say it that way. We have been seeing viral videos. Young men were arrested. Allegedly, they are not been guilty yet.
Yeah.
Considered to be, we call them simple. Let's just go simple and straightforward. Bandits. We saw a young lady that was attacked. We can say hurt very bad and thrown at the forest. Yeah. So, considering this number of incidents and many more, I'm just giving you two.
Yeah.
Give us your own view on the state of security in the Gambia.
Thank you. I think as evident it is, it's proof that the security sector reform have absolutely failed. We have not had any tangible evidence that we can look at or point at to say that our security have improved in this form. But again, let us not quickly run and blame the security sector or blame the personals. This is beyond the personals. Security is about governance. It starts from governance level. And if we fail on governance level, the security will not be able to deal with what is going to come out from society. We have to understand that the physical security we're talking about, when we talk about the uniformed men and women, Those are physical security. They are there as a deterrent. They are there as a part of the contingency measures to mechanism to jump in and deal with issues. But if for a society to be secure or a country to be secure, that country have to be governed effectively. And governing the country effectively, it's about all these sectors of governance, which is the public sector, where we have our politicians, we have our civil servants, which is the civil sector, where we have our society as we know it, our traditional leaders, our local cultural leaders, and every sort of leadership in our society. Then we have the private sector, our business community. These are the three sectors that we have that entail governance. And if these sectors are not effectively coordinating and working together, security will not be ensured. But the most important part of this aspect is the leadership. And that starts from the president and the cabinet, what we call executive. And as we know, we in a democracy, we have an executive, we have the legislature, and we have a judiciary. These three arms of government have to be really effective. We cannot be celebrating to say that, oh, at least our judiciary is working. What does that mean? That they are picking up the failures. We should not be a country of litigators going to the courts. How many people can go to the courts? How many people can afford to go to the courts? That's not a sign of improvement. The security is about avoiding problems. But you have a mechanism in case problems occur, you can deal with them. Then you see it's about management, it's about governance. And the reason I said cabinet, that's where the ultimate power is given in a sense of administration. These are the people that decide our budget and take that budget to send it to the legislature, the people that represent us to approve that budget. These are the people that manage from their technocrats, ministries, their permanent secretaries, and others policymakers would come up and do their due diligence and come up with policies by consulting again the other sectors, the civil society, the private sector, and every other sector to come up with policies. And these policies should be implemented. We give them the mandate. We voted for, we elected a government for that. And we gave them the powers to think of or decide our resources, how it's going to be used. Yes, the final say goes to Parliament, but they are the ones that draw out the budget, that this is what we think is going to work out. But if that fails, but again, we'll have to come back on this government. What mandate do they have? It's a government that have a mandate of reforms. There's a reason they have a mandate of reforms. It should not be a continuity government. It should be a transitional government. The reason we say a transitional government, because we know that we're coming out from a crisis. We need to reorganize ourselves. That's why we need to reform in order to be in position to deal with the challenges ahead of us. Then, if you move away from that point of concentrating on reforms and reorganizing the organization, the institutions that are supposed to be the safeguards, then that's where the failure starts. And what all we're seeing here should not be new to us, should not be a surprise. And are we dealing with it properly? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's why it's always important when Gambians or citizens talk about saying, I'm not interested in politics, that's real ignorance.
Yes.
Because it's the politics that decide everything in our life.
Yes.
And right now, our security have failed because of the politics have failed to deal with our security. Security sector reform has failed because of the executive did not concentrate, did not give priority. It did not have politicized the system, the reforms, these things. And now what we are sitting on a ticking time bomb.
If you are part of a team that they said, well, Mr. Ben, we want you to be part of the team for the security reform, what will be that one thing you will come up with first?
You see, thank you very much. And I hope and wish that we have a change of government in coming December. The reason is here. I am not bettering a government by the popularity of the individual that's in power.
Mm-hmm.
I am measuring a government by the impact it has on its people.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the evidence we have,
Mm-hmm.
this government have completely failed. It has failed from what we have agreed on. We voted for a government based on a manifesto, and that manifesto that was taken for the IC
Mm-hmm.
and taken to the people and campaign on, and we completely failed. Then we have to reorganize ourselves and use the democratic means by December and bring about change. And when we have change, why is it important to have the change? Because the major problems we have cannot be dealt with this government. They have lost credibility. They have lost the integrity to be trusted again. It's a matter of continuity. What we need is a system that will come in to reset the buttons. We need leadership first. You can talk about any good person, good people to come and bring about a reform. It will not be possible. There must be a political will for a reform. Remember again that executive position powers as there must be a political will to reform. And there's important things about reform. Reform is about leadership. If that political will is missing, means that there's no leadership in that reform. Absolutely, you can bring whoever you want, they will never be effective. There are other components in reform, which is of momentum. When people have the hope and aspirations and hopeful, you have a momentum there to communicate to them and carry them with you. Because the reforms, security reforms, is not about the uniform people. They're part of it, but it's mainly about the country itself. The country has to come together in order for us to deliver these reforms. Then it needs that leadership, it needs that political will, it needs that momentum in order to deliver this. Then that's where it comes in. The other part you asked about is people that you believe and trust, that have the knowledge and have the integrity and have the mindset, are not compromised to lead the reforms because it's leadership, right? I have talked about four aspects here. Have the knowledge. The knowledge is something that you can measure. You see, we are obsessed in Gambia now. Yes, that's one way of looking at it. What qualification does he have? Oh, this guy have a degree. The guy have a master's. This guy have a doctorate. Oh, this guy is already a major. This guy is already brigadier. But we forgot that Gambia, as the civil service is distorted. Everything in 22 years was not right. Many people have acquired certain things, but they are not qualified. Some of them might have gone to the best universities or wherever institutions of learning or training and come back to the same rotten system. The culture is completely wrong. Do these people really have the knowledge required? No. Two, we talk about integrity. We need honest people. People who are honest to themselves. But the first thing is, if the person is not honest to themselves, how do you expect them to be honest to deal with issues that might be very conflicting? The reason I say conflicting, you see, Gambia is a small society. You know, small is beautiful. You see, Gambia is a small society. We are all interrelated and interconnected. By marriage and been settled in together for a long time, we share all the values. And it's difficult to take decisions that will affect others, that will not be in favor of others. It's difficult to take decisions that will empower others in a Gambian setting. The muscular syndrome will come in it. People come and lobby you, your family relations will come in. If the person is not honest, if the person is honest in themselves, they have integrity, they will guard that integrity to make sure that I might know Binto, I might know Sulayman or Ibrahim or Mariam, but it does not matter. I might be a Mandinka, Fula or Jola, doesn't matter. And what am I looking at? I have to be honest to myself that what I'm doing should be to the interest of that nation. That's why that honesty is integral, is important. The person with the right mindset, the mindset is here. We have educated people with the wrong mindset. We have people that we term not to be educated. And these are the most, there's people with the best of wisdoms. And they have the right mindset. Mindset is important to connect. and to make sure you can do things that are relevant, you can measure, you can put things in priority. Mindset of understanding what development means. Mindset to understand how people think, how to relate. The mindset to have tolerance of other people's view. A mindset of someone who is conscious. Let's put it that way. Is important. And the fourth bit is compromise. And usually, if you talk to a Gambian, especially the person compromise, they always think of the person who is in uniform, or somebody, or the person that have. Oh, we heard him call on the TRRC. He have slapped someone. He have killed someone. I mean, he have tortured someone. These are the people that think is compromise. No, the person compromise is person given responsibility. These person are not only compromised. Those people are criminals. The person compromise here is someone given a responsibility, been appointed or been nominated or been elected to oversee something important as state matters, and that person failed to do that by failing to do his job, failing to stand up for something that is right, or failing to stand up to make sure they resign from the position to send the message that this institution is not working right. Not those people that just stood there, try to preserve themselves to survive to be and in fact entrench and enable that system. You don't expect that sort of a person to come back to come and lead a change. That person will compromise. That person will never change. These aspects are important to select the right person, right people, to come in. And the knowledge base too, we have to be very careful, because reforming security sector means a lot of things. But whenever we do things in the Gambia, we concentrate it with some people that or kind of character of people or caliber of people that we think they know it all. We are very mistaken. If you look at countries that are regularly reforming their systems, you see the kind of people they put in.
Right.
They bring people from diverse backgrounds with diverse knowledge that will come in and bring that input, and in order for that to happen. As you said, this would be the beginning of everything, and then there are other things that we look at and how we go about it. Let me break it for him if you have anything.
Yes. Okay. So so you are saying, okay, let me ask you this sensitive question.
Yes.
Do you really think TRRC is undermining our security?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's just like, let me give you an example today. If I turn around to say that in a marriage home, if someone's home, marriage home, if I start to talk about the problems of that home, am I undermining the home? Depends how it's done. TRRC is a commission. It's on a fact-finding mission. You have to remember that there are people that have interest in seeing the TRRC being undermined, because that is, they believe that it favors them. They want the status quo to stay. But the TRRC is doing a job, a mandate. Depends what the executive does, or the government people actually, the government people do with the outcome of the TRRC. You see, we have to, when you come out of a problem, you have to find a way to solve the problem. And Gambians, through the people they elected, decided. Because remember, Gambians decided this because it went to House of Parliament. It was through an act of Parliament. If Parliament said no, it would not have happened. That's why it's important, again, that we realize how important it is to elect the people that we believe to elect. I have completely different ideas that I think should have been used. But at the end of the day, I am an individual. If the Gambian people decided to, so this is what they want, what we do is we work what we have to make it better. The TRC is doing a fantastic job. Now it's up to what Gambian does with the job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We have seen the recent police department had created Operation Zero Crime Initiative. What is your opinion on that first before we go forward?
Yeah, my opinion on that You see, it's just a reactionary decision. You see, it will sound popular, and if you look at it, it's just like politics. It's not actually looking at the problems and trying to medicate those problems to make sure we eradicate the problem. But it's just reacting because of people, the outcry from the people, and now they're trying to satisfy us. But it's not going to work. Why? Why is this? Don't we have something called well, this something called the uh, zero, zero, zero crime, the
Operation.
something that,
Huh?
yeah, operation, the anti-crime. Don't we have anti-crime?
Anti-crime unit.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we had an anti-crime unit. Now, why did we create an anti-crime? I never agree on an anti-crime unit, but they created an anti-crime unit. Did it solve the problems? No. This is the reason they went on to go on a zero crime and operation zero this thing. It does not solve problems. What it does is, for a short time, it satisfy people because people believe, okay, it might win confidence of people that though they're fighting it, they're arresting, and they bring all these people they arrest. Did you think of what happens to the people they arrest? We see them arrested. Do we know the final outcome of these people? Does it stop those people from committing crime again? Fighting crime is not only about arresting the criminals. We have to understand the root causes of that crime. You see, when we understand the root cause of the crime, then we go on to understand the other factors surrounding the crime. We have to go on to understand the infrastructure surrounding the criminals. But again, we have to find a final solution. How do we rehabilitate these people? That's where the prisons come in. Because we want these people, they're citizens. We want them to come back to society. You cannot lock them forever until they commit that big crime. But you need to rehabilitate them for them to come back again. Taking them to prisons, it's not the absolute solution to the problems. People forget that taking someone to prison is very expensive. Taking someone to the criminal justice system is very expensive. And take them to prison, how much would it cost for those people to be prison? And the problem is, if they are taken to prison, they are not taken care of to be rehabilitated or anything. But in fact, they're going into an institution even to be a better or more. They are criminalized more.
More.
They're exposed.
Now they don't even care. They're not scared anymore.
Yeah,
yes.
No, I mean, not only that, they might go in for pickpocket. Let's say they go in for pickpocket. They go into in a prison like mine too, or whichever prison we have in Africa or in the Gambia. But once you go in there, they mix with hardened criminals. They'll be mistreated or they'll be groomed. And these people now would start to look up to these criminals. Now you're sending them to be looking up to, more vicious criminals. And they start to learn from those people. They hear those people's stories and everything else. The minute they come out, you think you have not put any values on them or skills on them or anything. What do you expect them to do? They go back to something they know, but this time around, they're going to try something even bigger. Then the cycle goes on. And as you see, the 10 people that you arrested today, there's other 10 waiting to take their place. Are you stopping the people coming in? You see, that's why the crime, we should not look at the physical aspect of it. That's where the security sector comes in, but not only the security sector. That's where the other reforms come in. The civil service reform comes in. If we don't have a proper civil service reform, to have the technocrats that have the knowledge, the integrity, are not compromised to come out with policies, we would not have the policies that govern us to bring the economic development that we want. You see, the same reforms again. That we needed for democratization, so that we can empower. Democracy is about to empower the right people to go into office, to work on these policies and to be part of the government. You see, this is the problem. Until we do these things, the criminality was going to be even widen. The real criminals are not even being arrested. Most of the people arrested are at probably even at the lower. Yes, they might look very it might look very bad, especially to the victims, but these are the lowest scale of the crime being committed. They are part of the conveyor belt, and gradually they'll become the bigger criminal.
But with all these crimes happening,
Mhm,
what would you tell us, the civilians, we the Gambians?
mhm,
What do we need to do? Because sometimes it's not about the uniform person securing you.
mhm,
What do we need to do to secure ourselves?
mhm.
Yes.
Thank you very much. This is a game where leadership comes in. When we say leadership in Gambia, we all jump onto the bar, or we jump up to Halifa Saleh, Usaino Dabo. These are the people we see as leaders. Every one of us is a leader to a level you are. You see, and the other thing Gambian do say, I'm civilized. I am rich, I'm civilized. But you, like, if you have a security sector reform, you have a very organized police service, you will have a program called community policing, where the police will work with the community in order to improve the conditions of their conditions, security conditions. You see, that's where neighborhood policing comes in and all that, stuff have come in. But now let's take responsibilities away, not to even look at the police. Let's say, in the absence of what is happening here, what can we do for ourselves? Binta, you'll be amazed. Go to Gambia and look at the most affluent areas in the Gambia. They lack the basics that can even help to fight crime. They don't have even look at now how affordable it is to have solar lights. Street lights. Most of these areas, they have compounds costing multi-million dollars, but the area, complete area, is in darkness. You see, I'm just giving an example. Why those people could not? They don't have the leadership in them to organize themselves to make sure. Look, this is a failure, and now this is for our own security. Why can't we do this? We do this, have these lights. We do improve one, two. We live as neighbors. How can we not look after each other? What mechanisms can we put in place? This is what neighborhood policing is. You see, but what does that do is it puts the crime from them to another area. You see, it does not stop the criminal. This criminal would always try to do something else or move something somewhere else where they can have the possibility of doing it. Those people can fortify their areas, provide gas, and do all this. But they go to other areas. Eventually, you find out that you cannot fix the problem until we have proper governance systems. That's the time we can solve the problem. But in the meantime, it does not do any harm for Gambians to talk among each other, neighbors to talk among each other, neighbors to build in a mechanism among themselves to look after each other. To at least share, this is my number for in case late in the night, 4 a.m. You just call me because if you call the police, but they might take this thing, or we can all call each other, all of us to put our lights on and come out. The criminals might run away. It's a temporary thing for this thing, but if they know that something like that is in the area, they might not come there. But I'm not saying that it's going to solve the problem. Absolutely, the problem cannot be solved until we have a government that's fit for purpose. Can you tell me, the whole 4 years, have you ever heard of a big criminal being arrested in that country? Not even prosecuted, arrested.
Really?
None. The only people you see is young people.
But then, I do not understand. There's this one thing I do not understand is the judiciary system. You take somebody to court, the court keep going and going and going. There's no end to it. What is it? What is it?
You see, again, that's just the reason you will need that those judicial reform. Gambia need a criminals, we need a judicial reform. And this judicial reform is not only, we should not measure, that's why I say Gambia is measuring cases taken to the Supreme Court as a means of that our judiciary is working. That's not true. You see the case when that one woman was so frustrated that she had to vent against that politician that owe her money. And some people came out to attack the woman for the way she behaved. Yes, she did not behave right. But are you in that woman's shoes? How much does it take for anybody, especially
that was Bachili.
Actually, yeah, for anybody Anybody, especially women. Why did I say especially women? We know that if a woman earns $10, most of it is first priority is to take care of the family for saving any money. Now, for a woman to save that much money, to try to own a home, and for a man to come and take that from that woman, and for the criminal justice system to fail that woman numerous, almost 2 years, if that person go out and rent, you want to blame them? The criminal justice system needs reform. This is what I'm saying. Because they are taking most of these youths to the criminal justice system through the courts. No, we should have other alternative way of dealing with some of these issues. Some of these youths are not the same, and there are other reasons behind it. The criminal justice system, remember to, you see, that's why I say the level of criminality, we only see the delinquent youths in the streets as criminals. What about the real estate agents? Taking millions out of the things and have a way of controlling the criminal, the judicial system in order not for their case not to be heard or proceed. And all this is crocking and putting delays. I can give you many reasons why there are delays to the court systems. Again, if you go and arrest 600 youths, do you know how much resources does it take to process those youths through the court? Because what alternative? Do you hear them say anything apart from take them to the police station, from there on try to take them to court?
And they bail them.
Why should court be the alternative? Court is a mainstream. An alternative should be built. Don't we try to look now? How many police officers do you need to work on that the arrested people? Now, if you have all those police officers concentrate in dealing with the people already arrested, now you have taken police officers away from the streets. You see, some of these things is not police officers to deal with. We need a social service system. We need a social service system. That's why we need a reform of governments.
Okay.
You see, and again, let me just put this point. We have to remember that these youths are failed before they get to the streets. Do we try to get to the root cause? Do we know what failed them? You see, again, the family will come into it. Do we know what failed them? The school will come into it. I'll give you a study in Glasgow. And the study was done, when the study was done in Glasgow, Scotland. And it's sad that they said that certain areas in Glasgow, a Gambian child is better off with their future than a certain child in Glasgow. And this is in Europe, in England.
Right.
Why this? Why this? Because there was a generational problem of teenage pregnancy. And school, and obviously going into delinquency in schools, and you know, you can get to a level that if the grandmother is probably under 40 years old, the grandmother is a drug addict. What do you expect in the family? You see, now, if you think that you have to go and wait for them to commit crime and arrest them and deal with them, you think you're going to solve the problem? But that's where when they did the study, see that, look, this is more, we have to have a comprehensive approach here. That's where they went and designed programs that looks into everything and into schools. They started to track children that are started to have problems in school to find out why are they lacking, and look at the family, this thing. And once they go in it, you know, systematically, everything improved. Everything improved in those areas.
Right. Thank you. So this one is hypothetical.
Yeah.
If Barrow should win again, you finish the sentence. If Barrow should win again, security will be like
Okay,
I'm just hypothetical. This one is if Barrow should win again, December 4th.
Okay, let me put this. Put this here.
Yes.
Yeah, this is my point. This is the reason why it's important to talk about integrity. This is my integrity on the line here. And some people, I know many times people say, how can you be consistently seeing things as it is? It's not based on any other thing but the knowledge I have in security. I have a passion in security, for security for that matter, especially when it comes to Gambia. I have a track record, I have training, and I've worked in situations and understand this thing. And what I'm saying here, if I even don't like Barrow, I am not stupid enough to come on air to say something that would not be true. Tomorrow, It's my integrity in question. If Barrow should win the December elections, I'll tell you, Gambia would not see another elections without being completely destabilized. And I'm going to put it on evidence. What have improved? Because what have improved since Barrow came into in government? Who is to be blamed for that? We cannot blame anybody else. We have to blame Barrow for that. Because we have all weakness. I mean, if you cannot change the system without changing people that are to implement that system, you can go and generate all the best policies and everything, but those policies have to be implemented. If you don't have the implementing authority, then that policy will not be implemented. And for anybody to lead, as I said, for leadership is about integrity. For anything to change, for change to happen, you have to have leadership. And the leadership have integrity. Barrow have lost that integrity. He have come out to be known for someone who would never say, do what he says, and he do what what is against people's interest, but that would be of his interest. From the go on, Barrow have used his executive powers by taking people out of his government and bringing people. The people who he brought into government are not better than the people we took out of government. But what we find out, in fact, the people normally he take out of government are the better people. Then he is intentionally doing this to create an environment where he can do whatever he wants. We have seen it in the area of finance. We have seen it in the areas of departments, social security, for example, and other places. You see, and we have seen it in the area of him going to all the way to destabilize our democratization. What that means is, by going, we all have this evidence. It's not debatable that he went and bought MPs to make sure the draft constitution would not pass through. That person have lost every integrity of leadership. This person we spent over $50 million for a Jani Commission. The Jani Commission make recommendations, and he knowing employ people who were already compromised. Even though if we are not taking to a court of law, there was enough allegation to make sure you don't employ those people or you don't keep them around you. And those people came and testified and accepted that they took part in all this. Elijah Ceases, Mambule guys, and other people. But you kept them close to you. Yeah. Now, a Jani Commission came out and then give a recommendation about what these people should be done. He said, no, you excuse all those people. Then, because of they are doing things that you want them to do, you continue from there on. You appoint. He took out the my party. My party is not my favorite politician. But when he took out my party, he had the opportunity now. My party had the position because he was part of the coalition. Now, if Aramabaro uses executive powers to take out a politician out, we expect for the Minister of Interior to bring out someone who is fit for purpose. What did he do? He brought his brother-in-law, who have have zero experience that can run a ministry, to be there until the things deteriorated to the point that his own position became threatened. The 3 years governor, then he decided to bring someone who is better off as a former Inspector General of Police to run the ministry. You see, he does things for himself, but he would not have done anything if his position was not on threat. Then everything else, corruption. You see, and corruption is the bedrock of every destabilization in the world. You think Liberia, Ivory Coast, and every country that have gone into this thing is because of corruption. And this person is continuing encouraging corruption in the country. I mean, nobody have ever been prosecuted, and people are committing crimes. Now, you think this is sustainable? And the other thing is the unity of the country. The guy lacks the skills, lacks the leadership to unify Gambia. He had an opportunity to unify Gambia. He came as an independent candidate. I mean, and Gambia had to be united in order to come and bring him onto power. But not only the people, even the impasse was a blessing for the Gambia. Because what it does that majority of people that voted for even APRC decided, look, now this is for us to unite because of the threat they have faced. And he had an opportunity to come back from Dakar. You see, when Barrow came from Dakar, remember that trip, how many Gambians came out? It was not based on a political platform. The entire nation came out. The first independence celebration we did in the Gambia, people were queuing, forced during the night to be at the Independence Stadium. It was because of Gambia. They were queuing because of Barrow. Barrow had an opportunity to take it on from there to unify Gambia, but he became divisive. Divisive within the political coalition and divisive within Gambians. Now he's divisive within tribes in the Gambia, and to the extent of going out to make statements which are threatening and destabilizing. Do we expect someone like this to continue? What does he going to give us? Countries are not built on bridges and roads. Those are part of components that are of development, but development comes out of people. If you cannot unite people, if you cannot, harness your social, social capitals and human resource capitals, that country will not develop. With the absence of social and human resource capital, development cannot. And so you can build as much as you want, it will crumble. Within 24 hours in a day.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. So there's this statement he made. He said NPP will prefer that to sign December elections, December 4th. What is your interpretation of that statement?
Thank you very much that you brought that statement up. And I want to engage Gambians on this. Message comes with a context. You have to understand the context of that message. And if any one of us is a student of history, would know where this statement came from. You have them in the Kabukas, they have it, and you have them in Fullers. You see, and it came out during time of war. To say that let me put it this, I might be right here. The Nyanchos would say that they would rather die than they will be shamed, because if they are taken hostage, their women and everything will be taken along. And they have to protect their women, and for that they stand to die than the shame to come onto them. And in Fullers too, they have the same thing, where they say that they rather die than the shame will come to them, because what shame will come to them, it's what is going to happen to their people. But now, the context, that's the historic context. Now let's bring it in a normal context. Where was this thing said? It was said at the State House. It was said during an audience with people who are coming to join him to go into elections. Now, this was not a statement that he made to a friend. This was not a statement that he made to colleagues and family members, and someone recorded it and proposed it. This is something he said, and we have to take it as he was addressing the nation, because he knowingly know that this message was recorded, because he was addressing these people, and he was giving this message to these people to go out to use, you said, to inspire them, whatever it is, to go on. Now look at the context of the message now. What is shameful of losing an election? No, we should look as Democrats. When we lose elections, credible elections, we should be part of people that celebrate, because we celebrate that our democracy is thriving. Our democracy gets mature. Because that's why we always stamp our supporters to tell them we are going into this as one people. Yes, we have different views about or support different angles, but we will come back to unite. That's why when we campaign, we always have to have the mind that after the elections, we need to reunite the people. Because if you divide the people during campaign, you will not reunite them after the election. Now, if a president goes out there with the state of this country, you see, that's why I'm saying about the divisiveness. The president should be a leader enough to measure what he says, how it's going to be interpreted. You are going to election. This would be the most contested election in the history of the Gambia. Now, the country is so divided, and the country security is incomplete in question. That's the reason we still have comment in the country. Would any responsible leader would say that I'd rather die than lose an election. It might mean, you put it in a different context. It might mean I rather die to lose this election. Why you rather die to lose this election? Because you know that you don't have a life after presidency. I keep on telling people. That's why we have to be.
You don't have a life after presidency. Is that what you're saying?
Presidency. Yeah, after the presidency. Because he knows that Barrow is quite aware that he's not going to walk out of State House as a free man. He have committed enough, and he's continuing to commit enough crimes, economic crimes, that there will be no credible government that comes in and let Barrow off. If Yajame assets were frozen, Yajame is threatening to be prosecuted for economic crimes, because that's the recommendations we have in the Jani Commission. Everything is taken off him that we can access on. Why would Barrow not face the same thing?
Why should we always follow that journey, trying to prosecute our president? Why should we do that?
It's not about following that journey, but that's the rule of law. Why should we be prosecuting the youths that are committing the crimes in the streets? The law, there's nobody should be above the law. You think that if you don't, because we have not prosecuted anybody yet. Now, this is the thing. That's why people keep on doing what they're doing. One of the reasons for prosecuting people or taking people to justice is to avoid other people committing impunity. If you promote impunity, people continue to do things. That's why accountability is not about talking about it. People have to know that there's a consequences of doing this. Now, if Barrow walk out free and Ben Suwareh become the president, what motivation? Well, apart from Ben Suwareh's motivation, but Ben Suwareh is an individual. Again, everybody around Ben Suwareh would be energized to do what? To be rich as Barrow and people around Barrow, knowing that nothing is going to come out of that. That's why it's important for justice to this thing. And people that go and equate justice and revenge is not true. Revenge is taking the laws into your own hands. Justice is taken through the due process and make sure that the problems are remedied. You see, even the victims of the justice system, the people that are caught within the justice system should be supportive of the justice system. What that does is it helps you to rehabilitate your own life. If you are not held accountable, you cannot be a better person. If you don't hold yourself accountable, you cannot be a better person. If you don't hold accountable, you cannot be a better person. That's why the best politicians are politicians who are held accountable, as we see in the countries that we are.
But if we keep telling our leaders, if you are no, if somebody else, if another government come, you will be sued or you will be this. We threaten them. Don't you think that's forcing them to do anything to be in that spot so they won't come out?
Not at all. Not at all. It's only a criminal leader that would, in fact, see it in that way. Because every citizen, you don't have to be a president. Those that you should not do wrong. If you do wrongs, there should be consequences. That's why we have the laws of the Gambia. The laws of the Gambia were not drawn against the minority or anybody else. Was not drawn against Mandinkas, Fulas, or Jolas, or Sarahulis. Was not drawn against the Badibunkas, the Nominkas, the Kombonkas, or the Sankos. Why? No, it's for the sovereignty of the Gambia. People within the territory of the Gambia, how people should behave. We don't expect people. That's what we expect of people. Now, if you go and become lucky to become a president, you should abide by those laws. If we exempt you from those laws, then why should we prosecute anybody? Is it that fair? What about the ministers? What about the permanent secretaries? What about assistant permanent secretary? What about the clerks? What about the people who walk in the streets? That's why it's important. This should not be an excuse. It should not be an incentive. Presidents should be given incentives. And the incentives for presidents is that we have in our constitution, and we already have that in our constitution. I said now, today, if you happen to be a president and finish your term, you have your pensions. And remember this, your term might be just 10 years. You have a pensions for life, paying you almost the same salary you have been paid as a president. You have your medical with your family for life. You have, lot of other benefits for life. That's an incentive. But the other added incentive is, if you do good, you'll be celebrated for life. Your family and sisters will be. This is what the incentive should be. The incentive should not be riches that you steal from people. That's not an incentive. That's criminal. And we should not incentivize criminalism to say that, oh, we have to forget, oh, if not another person. That's not true. If the person is a criminal, that person would never want to leave power. And that person becomes the person is already criminal. That's why they intend. People will say that, oh, power corrupts. That's not true. Corrupt people abuse power.
So our question came in with this declaration he made. Is free and fair election threatened by the president? That's our question on the fly.
Yeah, the free and fair elections have been threatened by the president about 3 years ago. Let me put this in a context. Again, you see, when people like us, though we have not been part of the 3 years government, we talk about staying with what we agree on. It's very important. You see, you don't measure people for the big things they do. You start to measure them from the small things they do. That tells you what they're going to do when they have the big things. The minute he renegated on the agreements, deliberately, that person is not a honest person to look after anything. More or less, position that we agree on. You see, in a transition, there's a reason they said in a transition that the person that leads the transition would have to resign after the transitional period. That is to take the incentive of the person to be unfair, so that the person will create a conditioning environment where the entire field is level, and we build a platform and a foundation that is strong enough, solid, that the pillars of democracy will come out. And when we have elections, if election is completely unfair, but in the case, you don't expect Barrow to do anything free and fairly. He has proven to be person that does not have integrity. Then, if we look at the process that Barrow has gone through all the time, Barrow has been undermining the democratic process from the constitutional review. You see, now, even with the electoral act, Barrow is undermining that. For the right for the diaspora to vote, this government and Barrow and his government does not have the political will to make sure the diaspora is voting, because of Barrow perceives the diaspora to vote against him. Now, that's already that's already evidence, or indication that the elections are not going to be free and fair if Gambians do not stand up to that. He doesn't have the intention to make the elections free and fair. I mean, in a nutshell, it's the Gambians that can make this election free and fair. But Lester Barrow and his supporters, this election shall never be free and fair. And if these elections are not free and fair, might be a catalyst to destabilization in the country.
Some also assume, they said, since we had the impasse, Jammeh refused to leave. This could be another thing that Barrow could do, and said, well, I will not leave, even he lost the election.
My sister, I'll tell you one thing here.
That's the fear some people have in their mind.
Okay, let people have that fear, and I know the impasse have traumatized Gambians for that much, and people don't know. But from my background, let me assess this way: Gambians went through this impasse. That's why I say it was a blessing in disguise, because it made educated Gambians to understand how the presidency works, how things operates. Because we went and did research and tackle it. And I'll tell you, when you guys in America were dealing with your impasse, I mean, you went through the cycles we went through. You went through the cycles we went through, up to people coming out denouncing, and everything else is how we did it. You see, the impasse made Gambians more sophisticated. But in this case, I'll tell you, we can never get into an impasse with Barrow. One, Barrow does not have and cannot find that courage and audacity to try to spring out the impasse. He might do it out of ignorance. And the minute he realizes what is going to get onto him, he will settle for something. My prediction is here. If Barrow realized that he might lose this election, Barrow might even leave town before elections. I'll tell you that, likely than in past. It's likely of Barrow leaving the country before handing over than setting up in past, or try to see how he can have a temporal arrangement so that he can evade the accountability from Gambians.
Okay.
But Barrow does not have that, and the situation in the country does not allow it. Remember, Jammeh had an absolute control of the situation at that time. But within that, Jammeh lost that evidence people don't see. The reason Jammeh lost the election because after the Solo Sending incident, Jammeh started to lose control of things. This is what led us to even able to come together to be one and win that elections.
And win that elections. Hey, let me talk to Binto Bantaba community. We have an amazing brother here. That's Sulayman Ben Suwareh. He is in the building. He's having a great conversation with us. I know you are late. If you are late, please, after this, go ahead and start over. Very important discussion we are having right now. I will open the line in a little bit. I have a few more questions, then I will open the line. You Jack Harlow, you call it what? Jack Harlow, you Jack Harlow with him, right? If you are following us on if you are on Facebook, please follow and like us. YouTube, please subscribe. Mr. Suwareh.
Yeah.
IEC. We will move on to voter registration.
Yeah.
First of all, Binto Bantaba Network is strongly in for qualified Gambians to register and vote.
Yeah.
We will clarify that strongly. Strongly. Binto Bantaba Network here, we are strongly in for qualified Gambians to register and vote. IEC, just a reminder, if you don't know the date, when to register, especially when you're in the Gambia, May 29 to July 11th. That's the registration they announced. We don't know if there will be any changes or what. The few things they need for you to have this voter registration card, you need a birth certificate, a Gambian passport, a national ID card, and attestation from the alcalo or the chief. So I want to make that a bit clear to remind everyone.
You remind them that every Gambian need to register again, regardless whether you had a voter card before. Every 10 years, every Gambian need to register.
Especially those young people that will turn 18 before December election. Please do not forget, go register. We cannot be throwing our arms and complaining without going out there to vote. If you do not vote, nobody will hear your voice, okay? And if you sit at home and said, well, I'm protesting, I'm not going to vote for Binto, guess what? The person that you do not like, Binto will win. So that's how this whole thing goes. If you don't like somebody and the other person you like, yes, go, thank you. That's it. So if you can throw a word before I ask you a question about this vote.
No, I just want to emphasize people to remember, because there are certain people that still have thinking that they have their own voter card, they don't need to register. Every Gambian eligible to vote have to register this time round between May 29 to June 11, I think. And they have to register in order to take part in the elections. And it's, as you said, it's very important. And don't discount any body. It's democracy is about participation. As you said, if you don't want someone to be your president, vote against the person. If you fail to vote, I'll tell you, that's not going against them. That is going in support of them.
In support
of them. Yeah. Go out and vote.
So with this requirement I just read, the IEC put in place, do you think this will ensure only Gambians, only qualified Gambians will get the voter registration card?
No. No.
Okay.
Okay. Let me just say this, for especially young people that have never voted, or most people that never followed elections in Gambia. As Yajam put it, Gambia, the system we have can be risk-proof. But the risk proof comes in people participating to make sure the mechanism put in place work. There are mechanisms to make sure that the elections are free and fair. But elections are mainly stolen before the election day. Yeah, there are some things that might happen on the days of election that might make elections be stolen, but mainly it's done before and time of registration. You have mentioned one of the qualifications for registration is attestation, and I think attestation should not even be qualified anymore.
Okay.
Because of Gambia, we don't have any more rural community that we cannot reach to make sure those people register. And I cannot see in this generation today, the past 20, 30 years, Gambians that would be born without accessing a birth certificate or going to school or to live in the Gambia for 18 years, not having going to school. And going to school, you will require a birth certificate and other documents.
Okay.
See? Then who are we attestation here? Who are we attestation here? This was a loophole put in, and it's been abused. And I think that loophole should be taken off. But when we talk about again, they are looking at measures because remember it's there. But now the political parties are looking at measures to try to tighten it up so that it will not be abused. To take it away from chiefs to alcalos and 5 elders or something like that. In that way, it's not one person taking decision, and that way it's not the chief who does not literally know the local people. He might live in a district but not live in a village. But at least the village alcalo with 5 elders from that village can attest to the people that are born or raised up in that village. But again, that would deter people who are not born and raised up in that village to come in for attestation. But if you leave it to the district chief, if the district chief is corrupt by the government, that is district chief can just automatically give it to hundreds and hundreds of non-Gambians.
I also heard Honorable Maifati said about the chiefs should not even be part of it. And I'm in support. I agree. I completely agree. Because I'm born in Faraba. Let's say our chief is in Faraba. He knows me.
But it could have been another village.
But if I told the chief is in Som, there is no way that chief will know who I am. And getting the attestation from him, I don't know how to attestation. Let me say that attestation in Mandinka for them. I don't know. I will try. Kakaito nyini alkaro bulu.
Sedeyala.
Sedeyar kaito kaitandiko itauluta dula karle. Sefo tawakala no with a big district. You know, the entire Combo East district, our SAFO will not be able to know who. So I completely agree with that part, and that's what we are discussing about.
And that's what I'm saying. The election can be free and fair, but we have to participate again. There are many things that we can do. Gambians should talk to their neighbors. You see, people that we call foreigners in the Gambia are family. They are from regions that we all come from, one way or the other. We might be a long time on, and these are people, our friends. These are people we socialize. The shop you go to shop, or your next door neighbor. These are the people that will end up, and you can even educate them. Look, don't get into this, because if you get into this, what it does is it makes the environment hostile to foreigners, and that's not fair. You see, and because it's not fair for you to take part in an election that you are not by law. By law, you should not take the when your election comes in, Senegal's election comes in, Senegalese vote for yes. We don't vote for them. When Guinean comes in, we have tried to educate them for that. That's one. Two is to let them know as well. If you're taking it from a risk. Because of Gambians who are ready to prosecute. I'm not just saying to take the laws into their hands. We should be ready to again to identify. If I see Binto, knowing that Binto have not, since Binto have lived with us, Binto have not naturalized as a Gambian, then if I see Binto holding this thing, I have the right to report Binto, and I think institutions should be there. Political parties and civil society should take people to court.
But how about if they come up with all the documents and they still get turned out?
Yeah,
turned down. Turned down.
Okay, this is the problem. If they manage to get all the documents required, and they register on the day, registered on the registration. This is very important. Let me emphasize, because most people don't understand that you need to register. The person, you see, people think that, oh, the government can go and print voter cards and give it to Tom, Dick, and Harry. No. The person have to go to a master register, part of the master register. That registration, the political parties have their representative. If Binto comes in to register, the representative will be there to see that Binto have provided the right documents to register. If Binto managed to provide everything and not be challenged before registering there and get away with it, and Binto is registered, then Binto's name is in that register. In the day of elections, Binto would go in and produce that the voter card, and they will look at the voter card. They will look at the registration number. They look at Binto's photo and compare it to what they have on the register. The voter card have to match Binto's face, details, and the number on the voter card have to match the number registered on the voter register. Then you cannot stop Binto.
Yeah,
that's why we need to stop it before they get there.
Okay, yeah. So what do you think could be done to ensure only Gambian citizens to get this voter registration card?
We have to be proactive. Proactive. We don't have to be reactive, because it will be too late. And that proactive education is part of it. We need to educate Gambians to know the importance why we should not allow other people. There are certain people in NPP, if you educate them and they actually know the damage of their committing. If they let a sizable number of foreigners decide our election, then those sizable numbers would be eligible to vote on any referendum in the country. And you know, referendum can change completely how countries are run. And this, we remember that these people that holds our voter card are not citizens. They still have their home countries as loyal to their home countries than anything. You think anything that goes against their home country, what would they do? We should not subcontract. We should not take a piece of our sovereignty and give it to the hands of other people.
But why are we only pointing at NPP?
No, because we know the history of when these things happen. It's always a government that have the mechanism, have the infrastructure, and mainly do have the desire, not only have the desire, but have the will to do it. And opposition might have the desire.
Yeah, they could do it too.
But they cannot do it. It's difficult for them to do.
Okay.
Because they don't have the infrastructure to do that. Okay. You see, this is where we wanted to have a transitional government, so that the president would not be part of all this nonsense. Now the president is so unpopular. Now the only way we assume that he can win an election is to get foreigners to vote. And you see, even the popular president, the time of Jawara was popular. Jawara used to win elections, but there were certain consequences under the PPP political party were registering foreigners to vote. You see, because people have to remember, before 1982, people were voting. In order to win elections, you have to vote for an MP. The number of MP you have determine who becomes a president.
Okay.
Now, Jawara might win the popular vote, but he might not end up being a president. Because there's no popular vote in the sense it was like a college system. Now, instead of MPs, if I have 10 MPs, one MP more than you, even I form a government. Until 1982, where it changed. We had a presidential elections, then we have parliamentary elections. But we used to have one elections. Then you see, if there was a motivation to make some consequences that they were afraid of, that they cannot win, they encourage the system to register the thing. And that thing have come to constitute about a sizable percentage, starting from about 0 to 10%. The consequences like Sarakoda is, the constituency of Oji Jalo, consequences of MC Cham, of Tumanga. You see, many consequences. This is how the PPP used to control those consequences.
Okay.
Yeah. And Bakau, they tried Bakau, but because of overwhelmingly Bakau people keep on voting for the opposition.
Oh, yes.
They never win. And that's another important point why Gambians who, let me just emphasize this once more. Another way we can stop the illegal voting. If enough Gambians come out to vote. There will be no opportunity for them to do it because voter to steal the elections are not easy.
But could they do a comparison of 2016 to 2021? Is there any list they can do a comparison?
No, already to 2021, 2016 is already distorted.
2016 and 2021. Yes.
Yeah, 2016 is already distorted. Remember, we have illegal voter registrations already in that one. That's why it's important to have a brand new one. But what I'm saying here, you cannot register more than the population of the country. Remember that. And what you register cannot be more than what the estimate of the people who are eligible to vote. Now, if every Gambian go out there to register, then there's no place that foreigners can come in and register.
But according to our constitution, my mom's younger sister married in Bissau and had children over there. And the constitution said those children, they are Gambians too, because they are one of their parents is a Gambian.
Yes, I mean, if they come back to the Gambia.
If they come back to vote, they are not foreigners.
But they have to come and prove that they are who they are and acquire a Gambian document.
Okay.
They need to come back and acquire a Gambian document. They cannot just come and say that my Binto and Keba is my mother. That's not enough. But they can come in and say that my Binto is my distinct and my Binto family will take him to the immigration and make sure they do their due diligence and registration. And they will register.
That's the problem we have right now, because they go to immigration, they have this accent because they are born somewhere else. Or Binta look like a particular tribe. They say, well, these people should be considered so, you know. So I don't really want to bring, but I'm going to give you a straight example, like Fullers.
Yeah.
Every Fuller is almost considered as Guinea-Conakry.
Yeah, no, that's a perception of that. You see, but that did not come from elections. That came from a permit system. You see, because when immigration go and harass Fullers, that's where it started to try to make. You see, when that's where bad laws are created. When you give a law enforcement agency to require to go after people to get money from them, what you created is just an opportunity for bad apples to go and just extort money from these people. Now, how can they go out and look for anybody who looks like
yes,
yeah, and this thing? And I'll tell you, my family have been a victim of that. You see, but that does not stop us. I still support the immigration to be very diligent. It is for the person to prove their citizenship. It's not for the immigration officers. Immigration officers, they should not base it on accent. That's not enough. But there should be a mechanism to determine. You see, that mechanism to determine. That's where it comes in. I give a recent case. I have my first cousin who happens to have his name spelled in a Senegalese way.
Yes.
Because he studied in Senegal. Because my elder brother studied in Senegal. And the certificate written, the way they spell Aliu is Alin, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, if he looks for employment in the Gambia, that name has to stick.
Yes.
He might be called Aliu, but someone saw it somewhere and contacted me and said, oh, you don't think this guy is working at Narek as foreigner? I laughed. I said, that's my first cousin. I said, the mom is from Bushwood. Mom is born in Bushwood, and he was born in Banjul. But this thing do happen. That's why I said there must be a mechanism to do that. The reason the immigration is apprehensive is because of the history we have. And we should understand that. And it's so very important job they are doing. They should not discriminate, but they should be professional in using a system that can verify who is who. That's what we should. And Gambians too should help them in doing that job.
You see, this person, Lamin Toure said, Binto, we have Gambian followers from Jara, Nyamina, and even Badibu. But yes.
No, the thing is, that's even, just to talk about whether we have followers or there. You see, in the Gambian history, you cannot point when the existence followers are. When you have kings in our history who are followers, Musa Moros and others.
Yes.
Okay. Where would you start to determine who is who? You see, and again, Yes, it's more popular because there's certain fullers that have a certain idea. I mean, they look certain way that they
Yes,
can
they
easily
do.
identify. That's
Mm-hmm.
why everything they target it. But you have foreigners in every tribe. You have foreigners in Mandinkas, in Jolas, in Fullers, in Wolof, in Sierras, in other people.
And to be honest, Jolas too. They think
Yeah,
every Jola almost is coming from Casamas. It's not like that.
yeah, yeah.
Because
But
I
that
live in
too,
Fonyi. I
yeah,
used to
but
live in.
yeah, but that
Uh-huh.
too, we cannot blame immigration for that. We
Okay.
know that there's a history of the government, and not only Yaya Jammeh. Because as I said, when PPP was doing it in Sekunda East, they were registering dollars who were not citizens to vote for PPP.
Okay.
Now, Yaya Jammeh, obviously, because of this background, he managed to get more of that. But
Okay.
again, people are thinking about it. Do you know that other West Africans too are taking part in this? We have Nigerians now, a sizable number, and other nationals are being reducing. Because there's an incentive for these people doing it. You ask me why a foreigner would want to go. If you have the ID cards and everything, it exempt you from paying all the dues.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now you can go to the hospital, you will not pay the rate for a foreigner. You
Okay.
can, you don't need to pay for identity. I mean, what do you call permits? And some of them are professionals. Their permits, they might need a professional permit to pay.
Mm-hmm.
See, different people are doing it. But yes, there are certain people who are stereotyped of doing it because of the history of this scam being happening.
Right. Hey, you please share the information. Very important. Very important. Please, 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 please share this information. Okay, now we're coming back to me, diaspora. Now it's my turn. I was so excited when I heard that we will participate in selecting our leader.
Yeah,
But lately, it seems to be shattered,
yeah.
according to the minister in his statement that it's not catered for.
Mhm.
What do you say to that?
Again, this is where I comes in. The minister is doing a job for us.
Mhm,
Until we Gambians want things to get done,
mhm,
things will get done. But if we want to sit back and just accept whatever comes out from the government as facts or reasons
mhm.
or excuses, things will be the same.
Okay.
We all know that the government does not have the goodwill, just as Germany never had the goodwill for Gambians and the diaspora to vote. You see, and not only that, some political parties might not even have the goodwill for us to vote because we are a very difficult constituency.
Mhm,
I mean, we are diverse, but again, we are kind of more conscious in how or why we should take part. We cannot just be bought by a bag of rice. It's
mhm,
take, I know some of us might be bought, but we take a lot. Then, if you have to spend that much to buy a diaspora, then you cannot buy that much diaspora. Then
mhm,
there's no. Then what you do is start to incentivize, to
mhm,
de-incentivize to make sure diasporans will not vote.
mhm,
Yeah. Now,
mhm,
they don't have a political will.
mhm,
Look, this is a mandate. This is a law. This is a right.
mhm.
Now, would you tell me what would happen now if you turn out to say Gambia, but Munkas will not go?
That would be good.
No, okay. Let's say we say Kiankas will not go.
Why we can have that. They have to
That's
vote.
it. It's the same thing. Now, if you say diasporans cannot vote, means that you say the constituency of Gambian cannot vote. This is estimated over 200,000. It's what this biggest, one of the biggest consequences we have in the Gambia. If you, I mean, if you look at the combos, it's the size of the combos.
Brother Ben, we never had the Gambians vote diaspora.
But,
How will
but,
this process
but it's a
even look
right.
like?
It's a right. It's
Yes,
a
it's
right.
a right.
Yeah.
But how?
That's not our problem. How we look like it's our problem. That's why we elected a government.
Mhm,
That's that government instituted an act of parliament and created an independent electoral commission. Yeah. Now, the independent electoral commission have a mandate.
mhm,
For us, it's a constitutional right that we should vote. Every Gambian should vote.
mhm,
And the diaspora have been recognized as a part of the Gambia. By all means, you can measure it anyway. You know how much we contribute in that country. We contribute half of the GDP. We are the most productive resource that the Gambia have. Now, how can you alienate that? Their
mhm,
rights and everything. Now, we have the IC mandate to do that. We have the Minister of Foreign Affairs mandate to make sure look after our welfare. Then, as a government, we have the Minister of Justice to make sure that the laws of the Gambia and Gambians are not discriminated through the laws of the Gambia. Now, these people we should hold them accountable to deliver. And what I can tell you is, there are organizations in the diaspora here who have already done the homework and showed and proved there's no law that stops us from voting. And the money have already catered for in the budget. Let Gambian go and study the budget again. If any minister or any person come out to lie that there's no money, it's a lie. It's already be catered for in the budget passed recently. Then there's no problem with that. Even if there was not, Gambia, they can always raise the money to do that. It's a right. We cannot stand back and this thing to happen. And this is proof what we're saying about the country we have.
Okay, we have the right. Yes. But I just want you to tell us, if you know, how this process gonna be like.
The process is like any other process we have. We just need the will of the Gambian politician to government to do this. Every Gambian comes from somewhere. Now, I can register to vote in many ways. Many ways. We can look. It's a matter of organization, organize it, and Gambians. Now, if I register, I don't have to. I just have to register that and prove my registration that I am Sulayman Ben Suwareh of Bakau, and I get registered, and I can vote from here.
Are they gonna do these polling stations every state? The reason I'm asking is the reason I'm asking is America here, we are so far away from each other. Let's say they said, okay, Washington State, the polling station is going to be going to there. Do you think I will fly to Washington State, which is Seattle, 8 hours, to go vote and come back?
That would be your problem. You see, what we expect government to do something reasonable. And a reasonable thing to do have to be put on a scientific base. Now, there's already a study done by MSDJ, a Gambian organization. They have made samples to prove, and they have looked at different data to prove where Gambians are concentrated at. Now, if let's say United Kingdom, they might say that look, to be practical, we can only have 2 polling stations in the United Kingdom, one for the north, one for the south. Now, if it means that much for you, I can bet that you have flown over to certain place to go for a Coolio or marriage or but it means that much.
Brother Ben, this is what I want. I don't want us to fool the government and they spend money and we will not come out to vote. Diasporians, we have undocumented diasporians that are very afraid to be deported. And they are out there and they may not register to neither.
Does not affect them. This registration has nothing to do with the host country. You see, if we are going through the process, Gambians will be educated for the importance of this vote. In fact, it does not have, it has nothing to do with the host country. We are not, the government would not have to share any data. They don't have to. They will not share any data with any immigration department or anything. But you have the right. And remember, we live in a democracy. Nobody would try to hack or anything to do that in order to do. They're not. Look, they know where we are. It's a matter of time or procedure. They will catch up with anybody who is not eligible to live in this country. They know that. They don't need our electoral system to know that.
I would say I would like to vote, but to be honest, instead of us Gambians forcing the government to spend money and not the turnout won't be good, it won't be necessary because we Gambians.
That's not a problem for government. Government has to do what they used to do. That's a problem for us. It is for us to turn out to vote. If you feel, what about the government that spend how many millions of dollars for constitutional draft constitution and bin it in the bin? Why the government should justify anything costing on Gambians to vote? It's for Gambians to determine that. If Gambians fail to use their constitutional right, it's for Gambians to do that. And then those Gambians who are not able to, then the diaspora would have to shut up because they were not able to speak out. We tell them, when you give them the opportunity to vote for your president, that you think that should govern the country, why did you vote?
Okay. Okay, but that will bring another issue because let's say Senegal, Casamas, Guinea, those environment, Mauritania, they are all around. Let's say we have more of Barrow supporters in that territory.
No,
and
I'll tell you again.
Just an example. We cannot say we can come out and say, well, he registered more foreigners while they are Gambians too.
There's a study done already that determines where Gambians are.
Okay.
Where Gambians are. You see? And now you don't expect to go and put a police station in Casamas or anywhere around Senegal.
Okay.
Because it's not reasonable.
Why?
It's not reasonable. That's why I said no. It's not wherever Gambians are. That's why I said that it's not where the state you are is going to be working. Probably in what they might say in America we put three ballots. It's up to other Gambians to travel to go there. Now those Gambians living within Gambia can travel to Gambia and vote if they want it that much, and they are not much. It's not that there are no more Gambians living in those countries. I can tell you that. There's not much Gambians living in those countries. It's not. Okay. It will not be reasonable to do that.
Let's go back to undocumented. The undocumented, they will not register.
No, if they don't register, that's up to them. But they're right. You see, when it comes to right, you don't compromise with that. Government is to deliver that. Now it's to the Gambian, because there's no legislation to force a Gambian to vote. What about the Gambian that stays in the country and not vote? Then if you put that argument, you have to argue, we should not go to election because of people are so given up with politicians, they might not turn up to vote. Because that's not be reasonable. Why we should see think that should be reasonable for diaspora? I don't think that.
And I think the time frame is short too.
No.
The time frame.
No, and if the time frame is short too, that's not our problem. Because they have 5 years to do this. You see, it's important. Accountability is important and to be put on records. This is another way of proving that Barrow have failed us. In everything that failed to work in the country, we have to blame Barrow for that. We have to blame Barrow for that.
Okay. So, Binto Bantoba community, the line is open now. You can call. Also line oyele, +1 Nali Ajibe under your screen, please. Under your screen, I will type it on the text portion too. +1 678 390 0539. We have our brother Ben here. We are having a serious discussion. It's very important. Please share this information. +1 678 390 0539. Please call if you have any question. I know you are following us right now. Brother Ben, when we say, we want you to explain a little bit in Wolof where this voter registration, and I want also hear you, what would you recommend to be part of the election bill?
Thank you. Yeah, small book you lata to all of flu or time importance register election bill. Nick I see gain Yagana White House in the 29th of May, the 11th of June, Sulayman register for vote. One of the keep up from the Domi Gambian, one guy took gain for them.
Hold on.
Why I'm law hande, I do have the Mongo. Lulu Moy one sub Katie Juru, sa ID card, and sa Gambian passport, wala loo xam ne ñu ne ñoo xam ne mën nañ laa seedal kay boo xam ne dañ la ko seedal si ñoo xam ne waxanguñ ñu ko seede waaye yaakaar nañ ne alkaal yi ñoo ko seede ne yow doo fa nga judd doomi réew Gambie waaye képp koo xam ne judd nga doomi réew Gambie nga teg di nga am nga fukki at ak juróom-ñett wala décembre di jot war ngaa am fukki at ak juróom-ñett war ngaa eligible pour vote vote élection bi nag dafa important trop li mooy mën a indi pour ñu koo leen d'accord koo leen foog ne moo war a amee ñoo war a amee réew mi ñu amee réew mi bon doomu réew mi war naa si loolu moo tax ñu leen a ñaax pour ngeen jóg make sure ngeen register ngeen taxaw make sure ne registration bi am na nu mu war a amee lan tax ñu ne registration bi am na nu mu war a amee pour ngeen waxtaan ak suñu mbokk yoo xam ne duñ doomi réew mi doomi bitim réew lañ waaye ñu ngi toogal ñun nekk suñu naataango nekk suñu ay mbokk ñu wan leen ne daal suñ buggee suñ bokkee si loo xam ne mooy élection bi dinañ yaaxal luwaay réew mi te yaaxal luwaay réew mi mun naa ëkkati fitna te fitna si biir suñ biir léegi ñun ñu ngi leen a ñaan pour ñu jàpp seen bopp loo xam ne taraanga boo xam ne moom lañ bokk si réew mi ñun ñëpp ñu bokk ko jàppala pour jàmm jiw ji nekk fa bu boobaa tam ñu waxtaan ak ñoom loolu waaye tam ñu ubbi suñ bët comme doomu réew te gis ne koo xam ne xam nañ ne warut am kayit ci réew mi mais que bu mu am kayit ci réew mi waaye nag oote wuñ kenn pour mu jël loi bi si biir loxoom dañ wax ne soo ko gisee am na foo ko report mun nga ko report immigration mun nga ko report to political parties ak yeneen members ñoo xam ne nañ dem seet nañ ko saytoo make sure mu génn am na solo torop moo tax ñu leen waxtaan ko yéen jërëjëf.
Okay, you hold on right there. We have a caller. Caller.
Hello?
Caller, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear him?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Caller, what's your name, please? You can speak any local language you wish.
Okay. My name is Dauda Samade.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to contribute to what Mr. Ben is saying.
Uh-huh.
Well, but I have some different feeling about what he's saying about diaspora voting.
Uh-huh.
What I understand and what we know about diaspora is someone that is outside the boundary of the country.
Right.
So if you are to treat them as diaspora, you should not treat them, you should treat them equally. Someone in Senegal and someone in mutually should be given the same treatment as someone in America.
Uh-huh.
We are treating the country, our citizens in other countries. You know the condition why he cannot come.
Yeah.
And if we should give them the right to vote, they should all be given equal rights. If you should allow those in Senegal to come and vote here, then you should also tell those in America and China to come and vote.
And vote.
If you should take a ballot box to China, then automatically you should take it to customers of Senegal or Gina Conakry. They are all diaspora. Irrespective of the distance, they are all diaspora. So if we want to treat them differently, then automatically there must be a motive behind it.
Okay.
We are not treating the nationality equally. If we say diaspora, even if you are still in Senegal, then automatically the ballot box should be there.
Okay.
That's my own observation.
Thank you, Samate. Brother Ben.
Yeah.
You hear what Samate just said.
Okay. Let me just say this to Samate. I agree with him that everybody should be treated fairly. But what Brother Samate have to understand is this is not unfair to anybody. This is what is practical. In any system, there's something practically that can happen. When countries in Europe decide that they have to go, they don't make sure that every country in the world that there's a ballot box for their citizens because it's impractical. What he's saying that there's a Gambian in every country in the world. Are we going to send ballot box in every country in the world? It's impractical. What the measure does is that's why we have an independent electoral commission that would look at figures, the demographic, to understand, okay, this is sizable numbers of Gambians here and there. Now, it's logical, it makes sense, it's practical to make sure to give it the franchise to these people. We might say London, England might have 2, America might have 3, Spain might have 3. I mean, it depends because there's a sizable number of Gambians in Spain, in Italy. You see, but you cannot say in Morocco have to have 1, in Algeria have to 1, in Egypt have to 1. It's in every country in the world. Australia have to have 1. When you look at it with the statistics we can gather, probably you have 300 Asian Gambians in Australia. But there might be somewhere close to Australia. They have the right to register if they choose to. You give them the right. What you give them is to register. If they choose to travel, to go to another city or another district to district, they can vote. But it's not practical to say that every country in the world, because there's a Gambian there, we have to determine how many Gambians are there. Then we look at the map, I mean, in a form of a mapping and additions, we taking like that. Then that's why an IEC does that. It will not favor Barrow or the opposition or anybody else. And people are saying this because again, Barrow is scared because of probably he didn't think he's doing right, but doesn't mean that he's going to lose the total vote of the diaspora. Look, Diasporans cannot vote differently. It might even favor in a way that diasporans might vote for smaller political parties. I mean, it's people vote in a different way. But what I said here is not about Barrow or against Barrow. It's about what can happen practically. It can happen.
Okay, Samate, you hear what he's just said? Samate.
Can I come in?
Yeah, come in.
Can I come in? All right. What? Yes.
Can you hear him?
Yes. What he's saying, it makes sense, but because of the access to the voting place, you have to put that one into consideration.
Yes.
We realize that traveling from Gambia to England, it takes 6 hours for one to reach. But now, look at the distance also. For someone from Guinea-Bissau to Gambia, it may take 2 days or 3 days.
Okay.
So you have to look into that one. The distance also. You have to look at the distance also. Look at the accessibility also.
How many Gambians live in Guinea-Bissau?
It's difficult to reach the voting place than someone at the far place. Like someone in England can reach 6 hours while in Gambia.
Okay.
How much does it cost for someone from England to travel to Gambia?
Someone in Guinea-Bissau, you want that person to travel 3 days.
How much does it cost? How much does it cost to travel from England?
The accessibility also part has to be looked into it.
Okay.
So because he's also looking at the distance. Distance has to go with the accessibility also. The road network also. It's an issue here.
Okay. So yes. Samata, thank you. Let me let you go. Yeah, he will respond to you because I had the same concern too when it comes to the United States.
Binta, let me put this.
Thank you, Samata. You guys can call +16783900539. Please call. Yes.
Again, let's be sensible here. It's not about distance. Distance cannot be measured. If you measure by distance, you'll be wrong. Okay, now you want to tell me now if you have 2 people in Australia. You have to give them the right to facilitate them to vote because of if they have to travel from Australia, it costs so much or long time for them to get to Gambia. Now they should have the vote than someone in BC. No, it doesn't work like that. You look at the sizable number of Gambians where they are concentrated, and you facilitate those people to vote. And other people, and look, you cannot. Equality does not mean that everybody gets every size of the thing. It's equity we try to get here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's provided you have the right to register. That everybody have the right to register. Then that would facilitate. Once you are registered, now the IC have to look at practicality because we cannot put a ballot box in every country. Now, if you want to put it on distance, then how are you going to measure that distance? It's impossible.
Yeah,
but
because
if you can measure people, say that there's a sizable number of Gambians here, it makes sense to spend money for Gambians to vote. Yeah. I mean, in America, you can say America. What were the concentrations in America? New York, Atlanta, and where?
And Seattle, maybe. Yes.
And you see, these are the things you do. In England, look, you cannot put a ballot box in every city. But you can put one in London and one in Manchester. Then people around this area would travel to that. Okay. But you cannot say that there is 50 or 100 Gambians in Bissau.
Okay.
Now you have to no country does that. We have to study again. It's not unique to Gambia. Yeah. Senegal doesn't do that. Other countries do that because of Gambia. Why Senegal is in the Gambia vote? Because you have a sizable number of Gambians
in Senegal. Yeah.
Senegal is living in Gambia. It's probably almost 500,000. You cannot. And it's acceptable for them to vote. So you have to look at the numbers.
Okay. So don't you think that would be too costly for the government to afford?
No. Government don't have money. It's our money. We are the one contributing half of the GDP. There's nobody, not the EU, nobody that puts into that economy than us. Okay. Then why not franchise us?
Okay. So what would you recommend? What would you recommend to be part of the bill, the election bill?
Okay, the electoral bill.
Because that electoral bill, I really have interest on that.
Yeah, let's look at the electoral bill. What electoral bill should be? Should be an enabling factor to make sure things are free and fair. And it's about accountability. to make sure things are transparent and people can hold things to accountable. Okay, let me come to the enabling environment. That's where it comes in. To look at what qualifies someone to vote. What does someone need to prove themselves to be Gambian to vote? That's why I said the attestation should be taken out. I don't think that attestation is any more relevant in a Gambian context.
Right.
Because the older Gambians, we can all prove their identity through many ways. But even the young Gambians who are to vote there's almost a school at every corner of the country now. There's almost a health center or a post somewhere. What this percentage of people who would not have anything, would not have a birth certificate, would not access it's technically impossible. But wherever it is, if it is impossible, let's make sure only Alcalos, and not only Alcalo, and 5 members of the community. 5 members of the community would be eligible in order and the Alcalo to verify whether Binto is qualified or Ben is qualified to be given a document.
Yes.
Yeah, 1. 2, there's this issue. I saw a campaign about a percentage of women vote seats reserved for women, about 16 seats. I am for women's rights. I'm for women empowerment. But I want to discuss with Gambians on this. I don't think we should put it in this electoral bill. I think we should take more time to study it and do it right. I am questioning the motive for the people backing this campaign. Why do I say that? If we want to empower women representation, we have to engage women in politics properly. How many issues do we have affecting women here? Why didn't we have these people come out and go as energized they are to go and try to represent these women to make sure the issues have been dealt with? Let's look at the infant mortality rate. The issues happening in hospitals. Where were these women? Why didn't they champion to go and to see the president, to see the health minister, to see the political parties, to tell them, look, let's go to parliament and make sure this thing stops? What is more important to women than their lives? When the issue came out here last year, our sisters and mothers went and told the soil to produce tons of onions. This government went and there was an embargo since time of Jammeh. And so at the time of onion harvest in the Gambia, there's an embargo of 3 months that importation will not happen in order to give opportunity for our women and men, because they are mainly doing this, and few commercial farmers to be able to sell their produce go to market and before they get rotten. This government allowed a Senegalese friend of the president, Wage, to import onions. I came out for social media to campaign for this. I have not seen this woman go out there to campaign, to tell the president to put the embargo, to make sure the embargo goes, so that the woman, this thing. I have seen, we have seen the struggle of women are going through the markets in the KMC and Birkama. I have seen a video where municipal police are taking sticks, beating up women who are out there trying to sell to take to their family. Where are these women? If we want to really make sure we have women participation in politics, we should be very careful for the leadership that we try to portray here. In many cases, people are using this gender card in order to advance themselves. We have seen the evidence where most of the gender activists, the minute they get the access to the government, what do? They forget about anything to do with gender. At present, we have a vice president who is a gender activist. We used to have another vice president who was a gender activist. We had another one who was Aisha Tujaisiri. Have they ever helped the emancipation of women? What have they done? Now, it's time to say that I am in agreement that women to be empowered. But if we don't do it right, the wrong woman will be empowered again. And once you go in there, there's no difference. And the women cause will not change. I don't think that we have the time to work onto this electoral bill to make sure it happens. We need more conversation within us to bring it up, to make sure a right mechanism is put in place and women are represented right and given a quota. And I think even 30% quota can be given to women in parliament, not people that are looking into running for elections next, trying to get in before us.
Brother Ben, I will argue with you on that. Our society, we should be empowered by men.
Yes.
What women can do in the Gambia, I'm talking about real time.
Yeah.
What women can do in the Gambia, our husbands are not doing that for us. And if, as a woman, if I come out and say, hey, I want you, Fatumata, I want you, Kadi, join me, let's go and do some kind of the demonstration out there, just a peaceful one I'm talking about. Kadi's husband will say, look, if you step out this house, you will never come back here. So if we see our husbands like you in front of us, we will have the fit to come and follow. So women need to be empowered from left to right by husbands. By husbands. We still have that stigma and the fear that we're supposed to be at the back. We should wait. And let me get this caller. Let me get this caller, please. Hold on.
Let me get the caller.
Hold on. Hello, caller.
To accept, press 1.
This one is a direct call. I'm sorry. Hello?
Hello, Binto Bantava.
Binto, can I just come in there before you get this?
Hold on, caller. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Don't get me wrong here. As I said, I am at the forefront. Always. Just a minute. I'm at the forefront always. And I don't even believe that there's an issue that is women's issue. Women issue are family issues. And family issues.
Hold on. Let's get his call. Okay, caller, come on in. What's your name, please?
Can I come in now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much, Binta. My name is.
Can you hear him though? Okay, go ahead.
I'm a keen follower of your program, but although I was a bit late, and on your screen I saw it's free and fair elections happening by Gambian President. But as far as I am concerned, the time I came in, it was not talking about that. Your guest was talking about registration, of diaspora to vote. But well before that, we were talking about stigmatization in the Gambia in terms of the immigration when they register people to give them Gambian documents. As a matter of fact, I thought those are two different topics. Registration of or acquiring Gambian documents require a proper scrutiny that I agree in any way. We must make sure that those who carry our documents are bona fide Gambians. And there are laws that are set aside for the immigration to follow. That I will always advocate for. But the fact of stigmatization is not only fuller. Stigmatization takes place in the Gambia, everywhere in the world. It will happen. What we need to do is we must empower our people who are interested or who are doing this job, immigration officers who are doing this job. What we need to do is to build their capacity so that those who are responsible for issuing those documents, they've got the law, they know the requirements that Gambians need to find those documents. But it's all down to the way the country is run. Dating back to the Fourth Republic, the Afghanistan, we struggle to do a proper registration of, birth. People end up only having hospital, clinic, antenatal documents to go to the Ministry of Health to get birth certificate. Or they will have to get Alcala's attestation to get birth certificate.
Now we must put in a system whereby
Mm-hmm.
everybody who is born in the country is registered.
Mm-hmm.
In the next 20 years, all these problems will be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Because a proper voting will be able to say, yes, Odechor is born in the Gambia.
Mm-hmm.
But until that is just established,
Mm-hmm.
people will still have to rely on the antenatal hospital papers or nurse papers we have, or will have to have attestation from alkalis, or they will have to have something to register. And in that process, it's going to be very difficult. So we have to institutionalize our system, and that cannot happen now until the next 10 years. Because otherwise, this stigmatization will happen. Because even if I am born in the Gambia, not in Senegal, when I come my accent, it's going to be a Senegalese accent. Because my surname is Chor, people may think that I am not born in the Gambia.
Yeah.
And being born in the Gambia and brought up in Senegal does not make me a Senegalese.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to look at that. So I agree that the stigmatization process is there. But obviously, why is it this stigmatization? Because that's human nature. I am in England and being stigmatized, and by my color or the way I walk, people see me different. People think here and there, it goes. But where I want to come in really is, I do not want to agree with Mr. Suwareh. With due respect, that is his opinion. When we talk about diaspora and voting, we knew this was a mechanism used to convince the people in the diaspora to give the other opposition support to change the regime in the Gambia. So it was a strong promise that when that change is done, they are going to make sure the diasporans will be given the opportunity to vote. They didn't say English, Gambian living in England or in America will be given an opportunity. They say diasporans. So that is across the spectrum. As soon as you might not say that customers deserve, then that means there is injustice. You are therefore allowing only the people in the Europe or other countries to vote, not those people in customers.
Okay.
That is one. Two, we knew I have not voted for Barrow. I am in England since 2003. Every election year, I flew and go back to Gambia and vote for my choice. This is how much committed I am in terms of wanting to vote. But I don't think a lot of people will be able to do that.
Yes.
So therefore, when they promise the Gambians that the diasporans are going to vote, and this is not possible, now I think there are many factors. Number one is, in as much as they want the diasporans to vote, you must accept that this year is a very difficult year because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
The pandemic, which also culminated with an element of bad government, because the money that came into was not even used in the pandemic, and there are other issues that is affecting people, which are more important than coming here to do a protest to the diaspora to vote.
Okay.
We have seen security, the state of security in the country. We have seen the state of unemployment in this country. We have seen the state of our health in the country. Are we going to spend money to come and get the diaspora and vote, or should we wisely use that in the health sector?
Okay.
These are all things that we have to prioritize. So the second agreement is, it should not be the borough government to put up a process how we get in the diaspora and how we should be voting. It should be the IEC who should be responsible to come out with a process, work out a modality, and present it to the government, look for funding, so that they can enable us to vote. But the IEC is not a government. The IEC thinks they've been talking about it. They have not come out with any process as to what we will follow for us to vote. So the blame goes on the IEC. If they can find a way for us to register in the Gambia, for Gambians to register in the Gambia, and also to vote in the Gambia, that's another thing. They should also find a process to register us. But I have not heard where IEC has submitted any modules or any process to government to say, this is how we want to register the diaspora, and this is how we want them to vote, and this is how the process is going to take place. And there will be a lot of challenges, because we know that people living in the diaspora. Some of us are not we are, undocumented for immigrants, as they call it.
Yes. Thank
How
you.
many people will want to come out when you are not documented to come and register?
Mm-hmm.
So those processes have to be worked out. What sort of voting system are we going to use in the diaspora? Because we cannot use what we're doing in the Gambia.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be online voting? Is it going to be online voting? How many Gambians who are registered who will be able to do that?
Yeah.
It is going to be voting by post or process. So all this, I think, we in the diaspora should start thinking on IEC and the government to put up a model, a system of voting to 2026. But 2021, I'm telling you, it's not going to be possible.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I don't
you.
want to put it
Thank you, Chor.
on the road.
All right.
So
Thank you. Thank you. We're gonna thank you, Chor. Thank you. We appreciate that. Brother Ben.
Yeah.
Brother Ben, that was Chor. I wasn't hearing him clearly. I'm not sure if
I had
you
it
were.
planned. I had
Oh, okay.
planned. And I want to just react to
yes.
things that he said.
Call us, please. I'm gonna let Brother Ben go in few minutes, so he will wrap up. Brother Ben, we have to invite you another time because yeah.
Let me just react
go
to
ahead.
some of the things statement that he makes. One,
mm-hmm.
I don't know where he disagrees with me. I'm not saying that diaspora doesn't have right to vote. I'm not saying that diaspora should not vote, but I am talking about the practicalities, and that is what happens in any operational system.
Mm-hmm.
You look at what is happening. You cannot say that every diaspora will be given the same access. That is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say you cannot put a ballot box in every country, because
mm-hmm.
there's no country that does that.
Mm-hmm.
Many African countries now are voting, but we all know it's only certain places that it happens.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot have a perfect system.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with him that the mandate is with IEC
mm-hmm.
and to deliver the votes.
Mm-hmm.
But what he failed to realize that the political will is with the government.
Mm-hmm.
The Minister of External Affairs is under the president's command, not the IEC. Mm-hmm. Because the operational system he's talking about, there's a lot of things that he's asking for. Mm-hmm. Can only be operationalized from the Minister of External Affairs, who mm-hmm. have the responsibility for diaspora matters. Mm-hmm. See, then if the government doesn't have the political will, this thing will not happen. Mm-hmm. I completely disagree with him for mm-hmm. saying that this thing should not be a priority. A right of citizens should be a priority. Mm-hmm. And he cannot to say that because we have problem with security, we have problem with healthcare, we have problem with this, the money should not be spent here. Mm-hmm. That's why we have called budget lines. Mm-hmm. Governments run with budgets so that they can fix their priorities. Mm-hmm. I am disappointed that he have not raised issues that we should not be spending that much to the life of the president, individual, mm-hmm. when the majority of people are not catered for. He mm-hmm. should talk about the budget line spent on other wasteful areas that not be put into healthcare, education, and security. Mm-hmm. But he should actually question mm-hmm. what is happening with the budget being allocated for healthcare and security and others. Is it being spent right? Mm-hmm. It's not the money that runs the department. Money is part of what runs the department, but we have to have capable people we are trustworthy to run the department. Mm-hmm. Then we cannot take that as an excuse that we should not have our right. Mm-hmm. I mean, exercise or spending. We mm-hmm. contribute. This is not something we're begging for. It's our contribution. We are the biggest contributor in the economy of that country. It's mm-hmm. not agriculture. It's not anything. We mm-hmm. are contributing half of the GDP of that country. Mm-hmm. And then we have the right to that. Okay. And again, operational things, let him know that. Mm-hmm. I'm aware mm-hmm. that already the diaspora have done their bit. MSDG, mm-hmm. That is an organization headed by Professor Farr. They mm-hmm. have already done the studies and the modalities and everything that they need to know. And they mm-hmm. are working with the diaspora. They are working with the IC and they are working with government to actualize this. Now, what is holding us back is the political will. And that political will have to come from government. Mm-hmm. Let me go on to my issue about gender before I leave, because I just want to make
it you saw me coming. Yeah.
I am
let's go back to
I don't want to promise. Yeah. I am not. I don't want to reduce things to say that I'm a supporter of women. Mm-hmm. I'm a supporter of the family. Mm-hmm. Because if you support women, you support the family. Mm-hmm. That's why women issues should not be left with women or should not be treated differently. It should be empowered. It should put equity in it, but should be a family issue. And we should see it as a family issue. What I'm saying here is we should be very careful. We have over the years seen that when it comes to political positions, certain women will come together to try to dictate what has been done in order for that to happen. But that is only to look after themselves so that they will occupy this office and do whatever they want. That's why I said this election bill, it's not enough time to study or to come up with a mechanism that would make sure it's done right. That's why I made my point by pointing out that we have very urgent issues that should be priority. But I've never seen these people taking this this energy in order to actualize this very important things, the life of women. I have seen other women, ordinary women taking this women life matters doing a lot. But if these people are in for political empowerment, I think they should use that platform now to go and speak on behalf of women, and so that they can fully be representative of women issues. But I think it's very selective. And what might come out of this is just to create opportunity for some of those who are already women positioned, to run for office and have a opportunity to get in there. I want it to be done right, so that the right type of woman that cares about women issues, that care about family issues will come in there, but not care about themselves. We have seen enough Gambian or African organizations. All they talk about is the family of women, but we all know that if you look at the benefit, it's always the people that runs it have the benefit, not the issues. That's why we keep on having these issues with us. And another point we should realize is this issue should come, in fact, encourage to come within internal party democracy for it to be really democratic. We should look at examples in the United Kingdom here. Political parties decided to take it onto themselves. There's no electoral bill to say that we will make sure that we empower to increase the participation of women. In the new labor initiative was, they make sure that every vacant position they have as parliamentary, which is a safe seat. Safe seat means that it's likely for them to win. They ensure that a woman become a candidate. By the end of the election cycle, they had over 30% of representation for women. Then other political parties were forced to adopt a system like that. That is why it's possible. In the United Kingdom here, we have women become prime ministers, but not even in democratic America. We should emulate those sort of practice to force the use our enlightenment programs, enlighten women to insert themselves within political parties, so that political parties will take them seriously, not to take them as tokenism would not work. It only serves the purpose of those male dominants that want to control things and to bring few women to be part of them to fool the women movement. This should not happen. That's why I say I don't support that.
Yes. Okay. What I just want to tell you, add to that too. A Gambian woman is hard in our society to come out. You know, let me say this in Mandinka. I don't know if you understand. I can understand. And we have to grow and thaw ourselves out to come, because men will not, let us be anywhere in front of them. So they consider us to be at the back. So I think whatever it is on there now, I will support it, because we just want to give women a step ahead. So if we start looking at those women in front, even though they will be there for their individuality or whatever it is, but a girl child in the school will say, I think I want to be like her. Awareness, we need awareness in all sectors, especially when it comes to women. Politicians are not letting women take over. That's what it is.
I'll tell you one thing. I'll disagree in a sense that I don't want to reduce our efforts.
Okay.
I think right now we have seen the evidence where women have come up and take up something, and we have enough men around them. In fact, in many cases, more than other women stepping up to support them. I think there's a mindset there, and we should harness that mindset. We should not limit ourselves. I think we should continue to encourage this position, that the issues that the women are raising is not their issue, but it's a family issue. It's a society issue. Until we are able to empower a woman to be on the right positions are where they are, our society will never build. I think that should be the thing we take. We should not compromise with the quality or quantity or anything, but we should assert that right and to make sure the mindset is about let's come together to build that society, and women are integral and they are the backbone to build that society. In absence of that, we can never build that society.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking. We should not compromise about this. We should not beg about this. And this should be asserted.
That's
and we should
right.
be very assertive in order to achieve this. But if we accept, okay, whatever the case, at least this, no, that is the thing that is going to keep us there. It's tokenism. Until we take it seriously, we take it the fight to them, I think it's not going to change. They will use it to play it. But women run political parties, women run the homes, and they run society. Why should they not be, leading the country? And I think that's where the champions.
Yeah, so wow, yes, we are still behind in our society. So we will need that.
I have to go now.
Yes. That's why I was just rushing. Yes, I have to let you go. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great discussion. We will have you back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, we have a great discussion with him, and we appreciate everybody. We are still a bit behind when it comes to women. We need that men empowering women. You guys have to empower us. You have to empower us. We can run the world. If we can run the family, we can run the world. Gambian men, are you guys on situation for us to take over? All right. We will one day be even the alcalos. You guys will be in trouble. All right. We have a great conversation. Please share. Call us. I could not take any more calls because he had to go. It's time for Ndogo in England. And Kodoke for the short, thank you all. Samate, thank you all for calling in. And please share this information. I will let everybody go. Do not miss next Sunday. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. We appreciate him. We appreciate his contribution. Wow. Today is Mother's Day. I will remind everybody today is Mother's Day again. Happy Mother's Day to each one and every one of my brothers' wives. Everybody. Yes. Voter registration. IEC, a reminder again. Karte fai kaito. And you know what IEC announced le kunyin karo May 29 to July 21st. Nko ni manta ye karte yela karte kaito nyini yeta ye karte fai. Ite fiti la no sama kotende ka foko karmi mbesirin tolfon malafala nte malafala. Itama niman karte fa wo mari lebe win. So that's the deal. Nito ko imal la fi kari ke president. Niman ta karte fa. Wala ite ka protest ika site nyame manta. Wo karte is in favor of him. So karte fa obo wala nyam. So albitala le ali alla karte ali adi mola mi alon ko ite fama alon ko lafta di la wal. So al sitali register al dingol mini alonko some December 4th battery be 18 years old. Please al ali register nga ala tentu nga masata la tentu na brother min keta Sulayman Ben Suwareh natale kacha soto. Please alien nyin kacha nyin share ntolka issue sol le kacha nka real problem ol le kacha mbuka personal ke nga ko ndal mo ku tol min ben noma personal buka keja. Wala tina maybe also have a topic or dolman saf. It's a safilano because those are the real issues. Ntolka menkacha. So ntolum bukana jan kafoko ite minke nte found in a personal problem wala malaf modo man interest so. So funding kel nka nyimol mini samana. Anin kola sola tol mini ka simfeja. Nko alanga kacha kumayata. Alanga kacha. Atol mini alonka left volunteer la kana Binto bantaba network nga kacha alka mini kumayata. Alnana personal issue tija. We don't do that. But in the political color. The mass cutting do not miss mbinala nalbe kachala. Mbe Mother's Day mbe mobe kontonam fanam bitani na family ringo be Mother's Day celebrate la. Yes. Mbal tentula mbali je ilal manyon soto. Brother Ben. Thank you for your lecture today. We will have you back. Sunkarola. bare alaman na sunkar siya. Alaman na sunkar siyala. It's almost finished. Thank you. Thank you. Diaspora. Munantol nyanta karte file alaba. Ali Mira. Yes. Mbenyin topic o sambala na nketek. We have to bring this topic again. Because diaspora alinkana lahido ta Gambia yenafulu ba bondi. Manta nga karte file. Alinga tonya fo. Nkana bondi na molu bulu yenafulo spend manta karte file. So mbelefelo topic sambala na nokote baro ku kiloto ntol fana nga right sotole pour nga carte fay so ali ajer yo ntol nga right sotole pour ka carte fay aning nin carte fay wato sita ye podo spend nata ko nga carte fay manta nga carte fay we should be guilty ourselves nta fola no mansa I codify wala ka fen ka jana watara I kodo fay ntol ka you know but we still our rights don't get me wrong I'm encouraging it, but are we going to do it? So we will talk about it again. Mbege sol sambalana min ba ko debate la, mba ko le debate la completely nga jibe. Allah barak. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nko. Keta, thank you, Keta. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Kasama. Allah baraka. Thank you. Pa. Thank you. Yo, and in fact, pandemic nying munantol bakarte kachal bidur. But okay. Thank you. We love you too, Re. Bob. Thank you. Jabi. Allah baraka. Yes. Konte. Allah baraka. But okay, for the chore. Thank you for your call. Thank you. We will debate on this thing. Thank you. We would like to have you back too. Lamin. Thank you. Allah baraka. Alkana next Sunday, miss. Nyim platform or issues. Nka kuwala kachami mun na sulol. Na sulol mi minti. Nka wala kachaja. Allah baraka. Allah baraka. Thank you. Kante. Thank you. Fatih. Nko. Alalla musol spoil B. Modest delem. Ali spoil. Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Thank you.